All right, welcome to the Explainer. You know, for the longest time, the US has been the undisputed king of AI. But that reality, it's changing, and it's changing fast. Today, we're diving into the new AI superpower race, which is basically a high-stakes chess match between the United States and China, where the winner could very well shape the rest of the 21st century. So let's just kick things off with this bombshell quote from AI pioneer Andrew Ng. Now, pay close attention to the wording here. He's not saying China might catch up someday. No, he's saying the path for them to actually surpass the US in AI, that path exists right now. This just completely changes the conversation from some distant threat to a very real present-day challenge. And that really gets to the core of it, right? It's all about momentum. I mean, think about it like this. You've got this massive corporate giant, and then you've got a scrappy little startup. The giant is bigger today, for sure, but that startup, it's got this explosive growth, and that can change the entire game. And while the US and China are both giants, China is channeling that startup energy, building incredible momentum in a hyper-competitive environment. Okay, so first up, China's open source offensive. We're going to look at how this super competitive ecosystem is really shaking things up, especially when it comes to software. So you might be asking, how are they actually doing this? Well, a huge part of the answer is that they're just dominating the world of open source AI. Now, unlike the closed-off proprietary models from places like Google or OpenAI, these open weights models are out there for anyone to use, to build on, to improve. And if you just look at the leaderboards, it's pretty stunning. Chinese companies like Alibaba and DeepSeek are consistently at the top, and in some cases, they're blowing past America's best open models. And what this shows us is two totally different ways of thinking, two completely different philosophies. The US approach has traditionally been built on this idea of a secret sauce, right? The knowledge is all locked up inside a few giant companies, it circulates slowly, and it costs a fortune. China's strategy? It's the polar opposite. It's like this Darwinian free-for-all, where insane competition forces knowledge and talent to spread like wildfire, and that forges stronger companies faster. Okay, but here's the thing. All that amazing software, it's pretty useless if you don't have the powerful hardware to run it on. And this is where the US has always had a massive trump card: chips. So with strict US export controls blocking access, how on earth is China even competing? And this is the really clever part. They're not just trying to copy US chips one for one. They're basically inventing a whole new playbook to get the same results. Take a company like Huawei. They can't get the best US chips. So instead, they're taking hundreds of their own, less powerful chips and linking them all together into one massive, powerful system. It's a brilliant workaround, and man, it just proves how committed they are to building their own tech stack completely from the ground up. All right, Section 2. Let's talk about America's response. An aggressive reset. A whole new plan to try and reclaim and, sustain US dominance. And the centerpiece of this whole thing is something called the Winning the Race America's AI Action Plan. I mean, the name itself says everything you need to know, doesn't it? This isn't about playing defense anymore. This signals a huge shift to an offensive strategy, one that is laser-focused on staying number one. And when you look at the details, the shift in strategy is it's dramatic. So the old approach was all about playing defense, limiting risks, restricting exports, focusing on privacy laws. The new plan? It completely flips the script. Now, the emphasis is all about winning, promoting exports, cutting red tape, and really asserting American dominance on the world stage. So how are they going to do it? Well, the plan basically attacks the problem from three different angles. First, they're going right after China's open source lead by directly supporting America's own open source developers. Second, they want to slash the bureaucracy to get critical infrastructure. We're talking data centers and chip factories built faster than ever. And finally, it's about going on the offense globally, pushing American AI tech and standards out into the world. But then you get this twist, a move that honestly surprised a lot of people. The US actually reversed course on some of its toughest chip bans. After a ton of lobbying, companies like NVIDIA can now sell certain high-end, specially tailored chips to China again. It really seems to be a practical admission that, hey, maybe the total ban wasn't quite working as planned. It might have even been hurting American companies more than it was hurting China. Okay, last section, the future of the race. So with both sides making these massive moves, what does the future actually look like? Well, the most important thing to get is this. There's no single finish line here. And this right here is why you should care. This is why this whole thing matters so much. It isn't just a tech rivalry about who has the coolest chatbot. A real sustained advantage in AI directly translates into a huge advantage in economic growth, in military power, and in global influence. Honestly, the stakes just could not be any higher. Yeah, you really have to stop thinking about this as a single sprint to a finish line. It's more like an endless marathon, with different leaders at different points in the race. The US might be way ahead in cloud computing, while China pulls ahead in, say, surveillance tech. The technology is just going to keep getting better and better, with the lead changing hands all the time. And here's the weird, kind of paradoxical thing. The race itself, this intense competition, has actually become the main engine driving global innovation forward at a speed we've just never seen before. And that leaves us with one final big question. In this incredibly complex global chess match, where the pieces are always moving and the rules of the game are changing under our feet, how do you even define winning anymore? The answer is, well, it's not simple at all. And it's a question that is absolutely going to shape the rest of our century.